Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. We'll get started momentarily. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar and first ever Chapter Leader Town Hall. Today's presentation will be presented by CLMA President Jane Hermanson and Christy Nickel from the CLMA Board of Directors. Today's presentation will cover a couple of different topics. We'll start with an overview of the 2018 Chapter Leader Town Hall program, explain a bit more about what these webinars will include moving forward. We'll also discuss a membership update and some findings here from our 2018 renewal process. We'll then talk a bit more about the chapter incorporation process and answer any questions you may have about that process. And lastly, we'll provide you a quick update here about KnowledgeLab, as well as an outline of the 2018 CCL Summit schedule of events. As a reminder, throughout the presentation, please feel free to type your questions into the question box provided on the GoToWebinar help bar there. And we'll answer all of your questions here at the end of our presentation. So with that, I'm going to kick it off to Christy to talk about the Chapter Leader Town Hall program.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Christy Nickel. I am going to speak to you about the Chapter Leader Town Hall program, which is something that has been driven by requests from you. So one of the things that we wanted to say is that this is a response. We do hear you. We are working through providing things that are helpful for you as chapter leaders, but also for our members in general. These town halls will be held 3 times a year, so this is our first one. It gives us an opportunity for the board members and other leadership at CLMA to present updates on our strategic plan, our initiatives, industry trends, task forces that we're working on, any kind of organization updates to chapter leaders. So it also gives you, the chapter leaders, an opportunity to engage with us and ask questions, provide feedback, just have discussion. Upcoming webinars and topics, slide please, thank you. The next one will be in August, where we will have an update from our advocacy team and our industry trends task force. That's an ongoing project right now, so we have a little bit for you, and then we'll have a better formal, probably a presentation at that point. In December, we'll be talking about the strategic plan update after the board has met and kind of made some decisions. That'll be helpful for you to know kind of how to align with our overall CLMA strategic plan. And I'll pass it off to Jane.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Christy. And thank you all of you for joining us today. I'm Jane Hermanson. I am your CLMA president, and I am really excited to share with you some updates on our membership. Erica, you can go to the next slide, please. So as you probably know, we at CLMA have truly two primary revenue sources. One of them is membership dues and the other is KnowledgeLab. And this year we made a change to our membership renewal process, and we switched from an anniversary date renewal to an annual calendar date renewal. So as of January 1, everyone's membership expired and they needed to renew. And of course, when you make a change like that, there's a little anxiety, but I am so excited to share that our renewal projections are 113% of what we were expecting. And for the first time in a very long time, our membership is in excess of 1,500 members. So as of the day the slide was created, I believe Tuesday this week, we have 1,544 total members of CLMA. And in 2018, we have 180 brand new members, people who've never been members of CLMA before. And 1/3 of those came to us through the KnowledgeLab bundled registration. So if you've looked at the KnowledgeLab registration options, one of them was to include your CLMA membership in your KnowledgeLab attendance fee. So 1/3 of our new members came to us through KnowledgeLab. What a great opportunity for us to identify who the people are and really welcome them into our membership fold, so that not only have we gotten them on as members, but let's keep them as members. And the last bullet point on this slide, I think, is really to edify and recognize the value of the hard work that you in the chapters are doing every day, because about 2/3 of our CLMA membership are involved in a local chapter. So your support of keeping these members engaged and realizing the value of CLMA is very much recognized and very much appreciated, and I personally want to thank you for that. Next slide, please, Erica. And in case you were wondering where our members are located, this is a heat map of where our members live. And you can see the hot spots, the yellow spots, are primarily the major population centers in this country, and it would fit, of course, that a lot of our members are in those larger population centers. However, if you look at some of the other red, excuse me, the other red zones, what you will see is that you'll see red spots that are centered around, guess what, where our very strong chapters are located. So again, that just shows that the strength of a chapter drives the strength of CLMA membership. Next slide, please, Erica. And I'm sure that you know this as you look in the mirror every day, but when we think about who our CLMA members are, we look at the two numbers on the left side, the 27% and the 15% pie chart. Those coincide with our membership that have been in the industry for more than 30 years. 42% of CLMA members have been in the profession for more than 30 years. Now, I, for one, am just hitting, I'm in that area, but what I think of is in a few years, these people are going to be retiring, and we need to make sure that we are backfilling those people in our association. If you look at the very top of this pie chart, you'll see 17% of our members have been in the profession for 10 years or less. So I would love to see that percentage grow. I'd love to see the entire membership number grow, but let's really make sure that we're bringing in new leaders and new members of our profession and engaging them and helping them succeed in their career. So again, that's a membership update, and I want to thank you for your contribution to our member growth. I'll turn it back to Christy.
Thanks, Jane. I'm going to talk a little bit about the chapter incorporation process. And I know that this has made some people anxious, especially if you've never incorporated your chapter before or any other society or any other kind of business that you've been involved in. So I'm just going to give you a couple of updates. Slide, please. We are going to be working, well, we're currently working on this, but we also have Joanne Lee, who is contacting chapters who are not incorporated. Now, if you're a chapter that is incorporated, great for you. You don't have to worry about this. But if you're not incorporated, it's a requirement. So we at CLMA are going to be covering the cost of the incorporation, and we will be guiding you through that as you need it. Joanne will be contacting people. If she hasn't contacted you already and you know that your chapter needs to be incorporated, she will be contacting you within the next couple of weeks. But if you don't hear anything or you would like to reach out ahead of time, you can always email Erica Bruning, or you can chime in now, I'm sure, and leave some information. We'll be able to give you some more contact information for that. Slide. And I'll pass it back over to Jane for KnowledgeLab update.
Very good. So as you can tell, this is rapid fire. We want to make sure that you are getting as much information in a pretty simple bite today. So back to what I said initially when I shared that CLMA has two primary revenue sources, one of them being membership and the other being KnowledgeLab. Of course, here we are just not even 2 weeks away now from KnowledgeLab 2018, which is going to be in Long Beach, California. Next slide, please, Erica. So, as you know, 2017 was a banner year for KnowledgeLab. The Nashville conference realized very high registration numbers, very high scores, and it was kind of cool to find out that CLMA was actually recognized at a national level as far as professional associations for conference growth. So Nashville was fantastic. And where now we've gone to the West Coast, and you may remember that we have not been on the far West Coast since the year 2000 when we were in Anaheim. And our numbers are not going to be at the record-breaking level of Nashville. However, our registrations are in line with the past 3 KnowledgeLab conferences. And when you look at the lineup that we have some really incredible speakers, and we have a great venue. And of course, with your participation, we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful conference. So I want to thank you in the chapters who have sponsored your chapter members to come to the conference. If you have some money sitting around and you're still trying to figure out how to use it, I would encourage you, send those chapter leaders and chapter members to the Long Beach conference, because they're really going to have a tremendous educational and networking activity experience at Long Beach. And I look forward to seeing you all there. So thank you very much. And I'll turn it back to Christy.
All right, so one of the things that Jane had mentioned is sponsoring your members to go to the KnowledgeLab conference. Another thing that you'll want to consider specifically for chapter leaders, but also, you know, members can attend, is our Counselor of Chapter Leaders Summit. This is going to be held on May 5th from 1 to 5 p.m. We've really listened to what our chapter leaders are saying. And I'm sorry, Erica, can you move the slide? We've really listened to our chapter leaders and what works best for them. And one of the things that we hear from a lot of our colleagues is that we don't have a lot of time to take away from work. We don't have the funds to stay extra nights. So what we have done is transition that, and I believe we did this last year too, but to a 1 o'clock start so that people can still fly in that morning and not have to worry about having an extra night of stay or missing another day of work. We are going to be meeting at the Convention Center in Long Beach in room 204. And if you have not registered, please email Erica if you need information, or check your emails, because I know there's been a lot of them going out, but there was an email that went out for registration for the CCL Summit. It does not cost anything to you as a chapter leader, so we really encourage you to bring as many as you can. We like seeing, you know, we have had some chapters that have been fortunate to be able to send several of their board members, if not all of them, on occasion. And if you have that opportunity, even just to send a couple, it's really beneficial. Slide, please. So our schedule of events include our Board of Directors update and an update from our Industry Trends Task Force, which I mentioned earlier. So in that process, we're just going to give you our update now, and then later on when we do our next town hall, you're going to get the full report from us. We're also going to have some leadership training that'll help some of the chapter leaders grow their chapters and provide meaningful benefits to our members. And then we'll have a reception and the presentation of the Chapter Leader Innovation and Excellence Awards, which will be out in the Seaview Rotunda. And that is also free to you to attend, and we are looking forward to getting to provide those awards to the chapters that have really worked hard this year. And I have to tell you, it was pretty difficult to judge these. People have really worked hard this year, and we appreciate it. Slide. I guess we can open up for questions.
Thank you, Christy and Jane. As a reminder to all of our attendees, if you have a question, please type that into the question box, which will then be read aloud here to answer by the group. We'll give everyone just a couple of moments to write down their questions.
We're pretty quick, though, you know.
And with that, we do have our first question, and the question is, will there be an opportunity for us to provide feedback for what is covered on these presentations? I can answer that. That's a great question. And yes, you know, we would love to hear from you as chapter leaders for, you know, what information is going to be most relevant and most important for us to present on, so that you feel more empowered here as chapter leaders to bring information back to your chapter. So if at any point you have an idea or a question or a concern that you'd like to have addressed on these webinars moving forward, please send me, Erica Bruning, again, an email, and I'd be happy to bring that to the team and make sure that we're getting to the root of whatever questions you have.
I apologize for not bringing that up when I was talking about our upcoming town halls, but I think what I wanted to make sure I told you is that those are our, like in August when we're going to talk about advocacy and industry trends, that's our plan for now. A lot of things change, and there may be other things that come up that we want to include in that. However, if there's a project or something that comes up that we need to dedicate a full webinar to, then we will evaluate that and work forward from that point. It may be a separate one from our town hall.
Thank you, Christy.
And I'll just actually add, this is Jane, I will add that if any of you at any time, any of our members have any questions or thoughts about what CLMA can be doing to help you, by all means, feel free to open up your questions to us and ask us and share your thoughts. So you can get our emails through the CLMA website, and you can also forward any of that to Erica, and then she would share it with us as well, because we really want to hear from you.
Great. With that, we do have our next question here, and this is related to the chapter incorporation process. Does my chapter need to do anything to start the incorporation process? This is a great question here, and I think this speaks to what Christy was mentioning earlier. You know, I understand here sort of the mystery of the incorporation process. There's a lot of work that we're doing here at headquarters here to make sure that this is easy for you. So there's nothing that's required from you as chapter leaders here to get it started. Like Christy mentioned, Joanne is taking care of all of the logistics of it. So what she'll be doing is she is going to be sending you a document that will require your review just to make sure that the chapter information is correct, and then your signature. So once that comes across your email or across your desk, you can just review it and sign it and return it. That will really be all we need currently here to get the incorporation process started. But if at any point you do have any other questions about that, again, please feel free to email me, or many of you have been working with Joanne as well. Feel free to reach out to her.
Yeah, and I think it is important to remind everybody that you are not going to have to cover the fees for that. CLMA is covering those for our chapters.
Okay, our next question has come in and asks, what is the driver, what is the driver behind the incorporation push, and what is the benefit to the chapters? I'm happy to start answering this question, and Christy and Jane, and feel free to chime in here as well. But ultimately here, the benefit to being incorporated as a chapter is that it does offer you protection. You know, it recognizes your chapter. The state will actually recognize your chapter, and it'll offer you a status here within your state that you currently don't have. So ultimately, the goal here being protection of the chapter. It's something that is required, that's that we haven't done before, but upon further research, we've realized here really the importance of making sure that not only is CLMA protected, but that all of our chapters are protected and have this status as well. Christy or Jane, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Nope, that's exactly what I would have said. Yep.
Well, and I'll just add one quick comment, and that this underwent heavy legal review by lawyers that CLMA retained to take a look at the structure and our exposure. So this really legally protects all of us at the national level, as well as protects us on the local chapter level. So it's really for the good of all of us at CLMA.
Okay. Well, I think that might be it here for our Q&A portion of the presentation. If anyone on the call here today does have any initial questions or any other feedback for us, please, of course, reach out to me, and I'd be happy to get those questions answered for you. I do want to let everyone on the call know that this has been recorded, so if any of your fellow chapter leaders were not able to make today's presentation, there will be a recording made available here within 48 hours of the conclusion of this webinar. So I'd recommend sharing that with the rest of your chapter leaders to ensure they get this information here as well. But with that, thank you all so much. Christy and Jane, any concluding thoughts here for our group?
Happy Lab Week, and thank you for joining us today.
So I'll just add, yes, happy Lab Week, and thank you truly for extending the CLMA experience locally within your communities and areas so that our members are having a consistent experience with CLMA. We truly appreciate that and look forward to seeing you in Long Beach.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Take care. Bye-bye.